Here we go. Bobby Maximus live, Muscles and Magic the Gathering. I'm Bobby Maximus. I am the Muscles. These cards are Magic the Gathering. And every week I try to go live to share something that's been a huge passion of mine for 30 years. I started playing when I was 15 years old. I'm 46 now, so I guess that puts me at 31 years. You know, I've fought in the UFC. I've won a world championship in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at black belt, the Masters. I've been named one of the 100 fittest men of all time by Men's Health. I've done a lot of stuff, but in my spare time, one of my biggest passions has always been Magic the Gathering. Started off playing 60 card decks, progressed into collecting complete sets. At one point, I had over 40 complete sets, but recently I have been 100% obsessed with Commander. I've got over 50 complete Commander decks right now, and I've got a couple under construction. The goal is 100, so I'm always buying singles. You can see some of them here. I'm always buying packs. You see some of them here. And I'm looking forward to building 100 of the best Commander decks that you've ever seen. I don't just build token decks. I try to build decks that are meaningful, and I try to build decks that fit my collection, if you will. So I've got an Angels deck, I've got a Humans deck, I've got a Merfolk deck, I've got an Elf deck, I've got a Goblin deck. I've actually got a couple of Goblin decks, and I've got a couple of Elf decks. I've got a couple of Eldrazi decks. I've got a multicolored Eldrazi deck, and I've got a colorless Eldrazi deck because I needed to have both. I've got a couple of Vampire decks. I've got a Zombie deck. I'm working on a secondary Zombie deck. I've got a Vehicles and Pirates deck. So I have all the decks. I'm looking for themes. Some of the things I still need to build. I'm working on a Demon deck. I'd like to build a Sliver deck. I want to build a Cat deck. I want to build a Cleric deck. And so I'm always on the lookout to add to my collection. At any rate, tonight we're going to do a bit of a pack opening. We're going to try to find an ancient copper dragon. We are going to look over some singles that I got tonight that I needed for some reinforcements for my decks and some decks that I am working on. And we're going to talk about this Commander Unban coming up. Everyone thinks a bunch of cards are going to get unbanned. That's coming up on April 22nd. So I'll start the show there. What cards would you like to see unbanned? We got the Mother of Geese, been watching your videos lately. What do you love about tribal decks? Are you expanding into not tribal? All right, that's a great question. Thank you for that. I have a lot of different decks. I don't just have kinfolk decks. Now, I know that I have been filming a lot of kinfolk decks for my channel lately, so that looks like that's all I have. But I also have other types of decks. I've got a +1/+1 counter deck that I am building. I am about to release next week a Phyrexian Poison counter deck. I've got an energy deck. I've got a couple of artifact decks. I don't know if I would consider those tribal or kinfolk. I have a bunch of themed decks, but when you're building themes, I think that tribal and kinfolk, they're the lowest hanging fruit, so to speak. Like they're easy, the easiest ones to build with a lot of the cards I've had in my collection. Now, here's another deck I have. This is a Xenagos, God of Revels, not a tribal or kinfolk deck. I am currently working on that. That's under construction. But really, when I started building decks, I started doing it to display my collection. And so the tribal kinfolk thing, it just came naturally because I had a lot of zombies. So building a zombie deck made sense. I had a lot of goblins, so building a goblin deck made sense. I had a lot of angels. Building an angel deck made sense. But it's not the only thing that I'm interested in, if that answers your question. If I didn't do a good enough job answering the question, I can certainly add to it, but I'm actually going to, on my Mox field now, I'll pull this up. These are all the decks I have. Sometimes my brain gets a little scrambled, but let's see, and I'll go through some of my decks. This might be fun. By the way, if you're joining me on the live, tell me, what do you think should be unbanned April 22nd? I want to free the Hull Breacher. I want to free Dockside Extortionist. I want to free the Jeweled Lotus, free the Mana Crypt, free Primetime. I want all my banned cards back. All right, so for Mother of Geese, to continue with your question, I'm just going to go over my decks in order. So I've got 20 Ways to Win. That just got filmed. It's going to get put out. I did a bunch of upgrades to it, about $400 in upgrades, but I really like the theme of it. I've got an Assassin's Creed deck. I wouldn't necessarily consider that a tribal or kinfolk deck. That was based on only cards from the Assassin's Creed set. I have an energy deck. I have a Phyrexian poison counter deck. I have a Planeswalker deck. I've got a demon deck. I have a landfall deck, so that's a non-tribal type deck. I've got a +1/+1 counters deck. I've got a weapons deck or a Boros equipment deck. What else do we got here? I have a bunch of Lord of the Rings decks that are only based on Lord of the Rings cards. A fairy deck, I guess that would be tribal or kinfolk. I'm actually trying to just knock off all my non-kinfolk type decks. Oh, I got a deck I call the Mad King that I absolutely love. And by the way, if you go to my Mox build, you can see all these decks. But the Mad King is based on the Monarch feature. I had a bunch of Monarch type cards, and so I wanted to build that. I've got some treasure-themed decks. Let me see what else we have. I have a Shieldred deck, a mono black deck that's based on card draw and getting a bunch of life. Okay, I have a Well of Tears deck. That's a fun one. It's Baral, Chief of Compliance. I'm actually thinking of tinkering with that, though, a little bit. I might go with Grand Arbiter Augustine instead of that one. I've got a Niz Mivet deck, and that is a card draw deck. And so, yeah, I have a bunch of cards, I guess, a follow deck that are not tribal or kinfolk. Top unbanned for me, Sordio says, is Primetime. I do want to see Primetime unbanned. Okay, so I'm going to go over my list before we do a little opening. Covered off all my decks, but okay. I want Jeweled Lotus. I need it back. I think you need a Jeweled Lotus in order to play some, bigger commanders. I think the bigger commanders have kind of got the shaft lately with Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt being banned. But if you want to play a big commander, you got to have some extra mana ramp. So I'd love to see Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt. I'd love to see those unbanned. I'd love to see Dockside unbanned. Listen, white's got a lot of love, green's got a lot of love, blue's got a lot of love, black's got a lot of love. Dockside was like the one thing for me that made red competitive. So I want to see that back. I want to see Primetime. I want to see Primeval Titan unbanned. I'd like to see Emrakul the Eon's Torn unbanned, right? Like, I get that it has an extra turn. I get that it's a super powerful card. It's got Annihilator. I think it's 5 or 6. But it has a massive casting cost. It has a casting cost of 15, so it's not that easy to get out. In addition, like, people can play with a card like Time Sieve and just like rack up infinite extra turns, especially with treasure tokens and stuff. So I think Emrakul should be unbanned. I'd love to see Caracas unbanned. There's a bunch of stuff that you can flicker your creatures to and from your hand or to and from the battlefield these days. So I think Caracas isn't that obnoxious of a card. I'd like to see Hullbreacher unbanned, right? One of my things with Hullbreacher, and I talk about this all the time, is that Hullbreacher is banned. And actually, I'm going to get my phone out because we're going to take a look at this here. Let me look here, and let's get Hullbreacher. I actually took a picture because I'm going to do a video on this. But, okay, Hullbreacher. Let's take a look at this right here. Flash, if an opponent would draw a card, except the first one they would draw, and you see their draw steps, you create a treasure token instead. Okay, so I get a treasure token, right? But is it really that much more oppressive than Narset Parter of Veils that just shuts down your drawing of cards completely? Like, I just don't see that as that much of a difference, honestly. I'd love your opinion on that. But I would love to hear about that. But I think Hullbreacher should be freed. I think Rathalos, Landwar Emissary, gets a really, really bad rap. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that card. But in theory, it's not that much different than a Priest of Titania or a Circle of Dreams Druid or a Gaia's Liege. So I'd like to see Rathalos, a much maligned creature in Magic. I would love to see him get freed. With all the stuff that untaps your permanents, I'd like to see Paradox Engine get freed. So those are like the big ones on my list. Stay tuned for a special episode of the Maximus Podcast, top 10 cards that I want to see unbanned. Some of these are going to be on the list. That's going to be dropping soon. I want to get back to these comments, though. Mother of Geese says, interesting, good to hear they're fun to play. One of my favorite decks is my Dino deck. And why do you think Dockside should be unbanned? I can find it. I find it can spiral out of control via flicker quickly. I think Dockside should be unbanned, based solely on a couple of things. Number one, red isn't that competitive these days, and it's the one card that was keeping red competitive. Number two, I played a bunch of games. There's actually a game of Tabletop Jocks that we filmed with Ben Bateman and Joe Johnson and a buddy of mine, Joe Kay, that came out, and everyone had a Dockside except for me. I ended up winning the game. I don't think it tilts the balance of the game that much. Some people might disagree with me. But then you also got to look at Dockside's banned because people don't like playing against it. But what about Rhystic Study? What about Smothering Tide? What about Shieldred? Like, you start to get into a philosophy talk of the game. And when you start banning one card, you have to ban them all. Like, if we're going to ban Dockside, why not ban Ashiok? Why not ban Narset? Why not ban Rhystic Study? Why not ban Gaia's Cradle? Why is Gaia's Cradle banned and not Tolarian Academy? So I really think personally that any card that Magic prints, I want to be able to play it. Neonics, just like how we have Game Changers, should be a list for 4 and 5 decks. If they did this, I think they could unban a lot of things, or if people are more open to Rule Zero talk. So here's actually my solution for that. And I love that you brought this up. It's a great segue. I would love to see a couple of things. I would love to see a bunch of cards unbanned, and I'd like to see them go on the Game Changers list. And then you could play whatever category you want. You could do category 1, you could do, or bracket 1, you could do bracket 2, you could do bracket 3 where you're only allowed 3 Game Changers. So you got to pick, like, do you want a Demonic Tutor or do you want the Dockside Extortionist, right? I think that would be really fair, limiting Game Changers in bracket 3. Bracket 4 or 5, you are playing competitive, anything goes, right? But you could also do a bracket 6, I call it Dimension X, but where anything really goes, right? And then there's something for everybody. So then you decide in your play group, hey guys, are we playing bracket 3? Are we playing 4? Or are we playing 6 today? And it's fair for everybody. All right. Dragon Cat Commander. I don't know what you mean, Eviatar, but if you could clarify, I'd love to talk. Hullbreacher to counter Rhystic Study, exactly, right? Like, balance the scales. If they unban Dockside, then unban Hullbreacher, says Neonics. Not one without the other. If they are allowing one of them, I agree, and put them both in the Game Changers list. That solves that problem. Jurassic Magic says, Hullbreacher makes 1 ring and Rhystic Study engines pay. The only problem is that a lot of people played Hullbreacher with wheels, but then again, not many people are playing wheels in Commander. In Jurassic Magic, that's a good point, but let me ask you a question. Is Narset with a wheel any different than Hullbreacher with a wheel? I'd love your opinion on that, because Narset with a wheel is as oppressive, if not more oppressive, than Hullbreacher with a wheel. So, like, where do you stand on that? And then Jurassic Magic also says, what I like about Dockside is the fact that it helps the last player in turn order. Each player ahead in turn order have so much more advantages compared to the last. And that brings up another point. People can afford Mox Diamonds. People can afford a Mox Opal. People can afford a Chrome Mox. Like, these are cards I all play with because I have a massive collection. Hullbreacher is a cheap way to balance the scales. You want to play with a Lion's Eye Diamond. You want to play with a Mox Diamond. You want to have the most expensive cards. You want to have a Grim Monolith. Well, guess what? Dockside for what, like $30, $20, whatever it costs right now. That's a great way to balance the table. And cheap, right? Because not a lot of people are able to order a Mox Diamond. Lady Kilala, how are you? One of my good friends in the Magic the Gathering community. One of the kindest, most genuine people you ever meet. So it is great to see you. Hopefully we get together again soon. Mother Agis says, yeah, that's true with Hullbreacher. Why is Notion Thief legal? It's only 1 black mana more, which is silly. I think it should be unbanned. But what about Caracas Casual, but no CEDH? Yes, but this is where the bracket system comes in. Like I say, unban everything, put these on the Game Changers list, and then you can play your bracket. All right? Oh, Lady Kalila says, my audio is kind of cutting out a little bit here and there. Thank you for that. Does it sound better now? I've got my mic. It looks like my levels are pretty good, but I appreciate the heads up. Drimus says, hello, discovered your channel through Cranko Deck video. Really helped me decide what I should put in the Cranko Deck I'm building. I love hearing that. When I got in Commander, there's actually a learning curve, and I'm not scared to admit this. I played a lot of 60 card decks, and I also, in addition to playing 60 card decks, I'm actually distracted by my audio a bit. Did it fix, lady? Let me know. I would love to hear if it's fixed. I'm actually looking right now at my mixer. These are my audio settings, my mic, my aux. It looks like it is pretty good, but let me know. This is live TV, so we're just trying to fix this. But again, let me know if my audio is good. Yes, you pulled your mic closer. It's good. Awesome. All right, so there we go. The mic is good. Thank you for that. But back to the Cranko comment. So I used to play 60 card decks, and I collected a lot of complete sets. I had 40 complete sets at one point. And to be honest with you, when I got into Commander a couple of years ago, my friend Kaalia and David got me into Commander. They're like, you really need to get into Commander. It's the best game. So I got into Commander. There was a huge learning curve for me. And I did a lot of research on the internet. It was really hard to find good resources. And so my whole attitude towards Magic the Gathering is like Magic for Dummies. I'm trying to break stuff down into its simplest form and celebrate like my joy and my love of the game. And the other thing is I want to celebrate the positivity. You know what I'm sick of? Negativity in the community. We don't like Universes Beyond. We don't like this set. We don't like this card. Wizards did terrible with this set. Wizards is awful. Don't play the game anymore. Like you don't, like I love this game. And the other thing is when people criticize everything Wizards does, there's a lot of hardworking people at Wizards that really work hard to give us something we love. Like just show a little bit of like love and kindness and respect. So my goal, and I'm glad you got something from the Cranko deck, is to show people how to build better decks using some of the lessons I've learned to break it down into its simplest form. It's easy for everybody, to have something for everybody on the channel, and just really celebrate the joy around the game. On that note, joy. You know what one of my favorite thing is? Opening packs. Let's see if we can find an ancient copper dragon. Lucas Roman says, I think you do break it down well. I love your deck text and your style. Shocked you don't have more subs. Well, Lucas, I wish I did have more, but I just started the channel a month ago. 1 month. So I will have those subs, but help me get them. Share this with everybody. Jurassic Magic says, I feel like the better comparison, Hull Breacher is Notion Thief. That's fair. I'll take that point. Where the person who plays against it an immense amount of value. Narset decent, but it doesn't have flash and can be attacked into. Kevin F. Hey, just joining. I built the first version of your Ezio deck. Super fun, except my friend kept killing me with the Gary the Slug. LOL. Saw you recently changed the deck up. I have. I'm constantly adding stuff to my decks. Like, check this out. Right? We got a Teferi's Aegis Insight. That is going to be for my Wizards of Dark Smoke deck. It's an Niz deck. We got an Urza Lord High Artificer. That is going to go in my Fallout deck. We have a Caracas. I think that's going to be unbanned. I hope it's unbanned. I got one of those tonight. Final Fortune. That's for my Kaalia deck. Clothis, God of Destiny. That's going in my Xenagos, God of Revels deck. Steel Shaper's Gift. I need that for my Kaalia deck. Laughless, Dragon Queen. Didn't have one of those. I'm going to put that in my Dragon deck. Varagoth, Blood Sky Sire for my Demon deck, my Kaalia deck. Joyra, Weatherlight Captain. Now, I have one in my Legendary Matters deck. I've got one in my Fallout deck because there's a lot of artifacts in it, but I needed it for my Brea deck. We have a Gamble and a Villas, Broker of Blood, both for my Kaalia deck. So I am constantly trying to upgrade my deck. So check back to my deck lists because they change. Like the videos, I put up the video, but then I'm not going to not alter my decks. One of the things that I was talking about earlier was when I was talking about how I, don't have a lot of subs right now. I started this channel a month ago, and it actually took me a lot of courage to do it. I've been in the media a good chunk of my life. I fought in the UFC. I won the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world title. I write for Men's Health. Men's Health named me one of the 100 fittest men of all time. Magic the Gathering for me was like a private part of my life. It was something that was like really me. I don't know if this will make sense to you, but people know me as Bobby Maximus. My real name is Robbie McDonald. And it was the last part of Robbie McDonald that I had that was private that no one really knew about. But I've collected for years, and I had such a joy of the game. It was actually Talia and David as well. Talia Vest, David Buer, incredible people. Absolutely love them. But they convinced me to share my love of the game through Commander and getting involved in the community. And then finally, I thought, I have a lot to offer the community. I think I do. And I want to meet people and make more friends in the Magic community. And so I started filming my decks. So the channel's under a month old. But hopefully we can get a lot more subs. I'd love to see it. But back to the decks. One of the things that I've always done when I had a hard fight practice, when I'm sad, when I'm lonely, when I feel anxious or depressed, like all those things, I go tinker with my decks, and I'm not going to stop that just because the deck's on the internet. So the people that are looking at my decks, they constantly change. I constantly add stuff. Like I need for my Goblin deck a General Crete. When I get it, it's going in my Krenko deck. So the Krenko deck will change. Sordio says, I personally had to take a break due to product fatigue. You know what the beauty of Magic is? You can buy the product you want. If you like Baldur's Gate, you buy Baldur's Gate. You like Final Fantasy, you buy Final Fantasy. If you don't have to, especially playing Commander, right? Standard, I've got a little bit of sympathy for people because you've got to play the current stuff. But with Commander, you can play whatever you want and have some fun. Jurassic Magic says, glad to hear the positivity. I am also trying to cultivate positivity in my channel instead of rage bait. I love that. I'm actually, when I get off here, I'll look you up. I'd love to give you a follow because I like positivity. I don't like the rage bait stuff. Kevin F says, I recently got into MTG. I was a Yu-Gi-Oh player for years. Yu-Gi-Oh is actually like a really fun game for years. Took a break and heard about Commander and tried it out last year. Now every Sunday, me and my wife and a few friends get together and play that. You see the smile. That makes me happy. So welcome to the Commander community. All right. Oh God, my wife got everything for the Final Fantasy set. I love it. You have a good wife. Cool. No wonder you look familiar. I think I saw your interview video in the Magic the Gathering channel. You may have, So, all right. I got to open these. I am burning up inside. I really want to open these. We are looking for an ancient copper dragon. So let's see if we can get them. Baldur's Gate's actually one of my favorite sets of all time. When I had 40 complete sets, what led me to believe what sets were good and what sets weren't good is how many cards I pulled out of them. They got the Ancient Copper Dragon cycle in here. These are incredible cards. So let's take a look. Underseller Myconid. Insufferable Balladeer. Marching Duodrone. Gond Gate. That's actually one of the gates in my 20 Ways to Win deck. Stone Speaker Crystal. Mountain. Mahadi Emporium Master. We have Kaga Shadow Archdruid. Sword Coast Sailor. Okay, now the goldies. Mirror of Life Trapping. And we got a monster hit. Not the Ancient Copper Dragon, but a big winner. Astral Dragon. It has shot up in value thanks to Tarkir. Absolutely love this card. I needed another one. This pays for the pack, which is awesome. But I needed another one because I want to build another dragon deck. So I'm really happy about that card. Let's put that aside. Big winner. Monster Manual. Love this card as well. I wanted this for my dinosaur deck. This is a great way to cheat out creatures. Look at this. You play this card. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Yes, another winner. I actually needed that one. Shameless Charlatan. Commander creatures you own have this creature becomes a copy of another target creature. Not a bad card. Not a bad card. Nautiloid Ship. One of the best vehicles in Magic. Love that card. All right. So that's I'm going to put this in a winner. This has been actually a great pack. Mother of Geese, you are right. This is a great pack. I got as Lady Kilala says, I do have the fire hands today. Intellect Devourer. Okay, and I got a squirrel token. So that is pack number 1. All right. Any ideas for the commander of the new dragon deck? I'm actually not. For my new dragon deck, I assume you're talking about. I want to do Miriam Sentinel Worm. Like it's the next best commander in the thing, and so that's probably what I'm going to do. All right, Steadfast Unicorn. Oh, I like that Umeni Commander card too. You meet in a tavern, vicious battle rager, Noah Warband. Remember, we're looking for the ancient copper dragon. By the way, thanks for all the love on today's live, all the comments. It means the world to me. Taunting Kobold, Mountain, Marble Diamond, Amber Gristle O'Mal, Scion of Halaster. Okay, now we're into the Goldies, as my son calls them. Altar of Baal, Clan Crafter, Basilisk Caller, Alondo the Seer. Yes! Not the ancient copper, but honestly, pretty damn close, and a beautiful printing of this card. Ancient Silver Dragon. I officially have the fire hands. That is a massive pull right there. I'm about to look this up on TCG Player. I am excited. Sometimes I'll look stuff up on Card Kingdom. Sometimes I'll look stuff up on TCG. But let's see here. Whoo, I feel good about this. Ancient Silver Dragon. Let's look this up. This is a great card, and this can go in so many decks. I actually just put one of these in my son's follow deck. $56. Wow. Okay. That pays for the pack. $62.26 it's going for on TCG Direct. So, boom. Big pull on that. That makes me really, really happy. So, yeah, Ancient Silver Dragon. Let's go. All right. Did I miss any in here, by the way? Are any of these like a really good card? That's actually really good for a treasure deck. Yeah, we got lots of good cards here. So I am excited. Traverse the Outlands. I totally forgot about that because I am just so excited about these other cards. Shameless Charlatan's pretty good. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see what else we got. All right, let's get it going. One more pack. One more pack. Lady Kaalia, thank you for the good vibes. I need you to summon up all your luck. Basilisk Collar is good. What do you think that's worth, by the way? I wonder. That's a decent card. I don't play with it a lot, but it does give me Death Touch and Lifelink. Let's look that up, actually. Basilisk Collar. Let's see. Oh, not bad. Okay. All right. What printing of this? Oh, here we go. All right, $4. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. We have one more pack. I need everyone to summon their luck. Summon their luck. All right, Jurassic Magic, because I respect your magic opinion. What other commanders should I do? Should I do Umeni? Should I do Miriam? What do you think? All right, more comments. Planning to build dragon deck in the future. What are the good commanders I can consider aside from Ur-Dragon? DRMN, I think Miriam's Sentinel Worm is a no-brainer. I think it can combo off like crazy. I think, man, if Ur-Dragon's 1A, Miriam's 1B in my world. You could also do Tiamat, but I think Miriam's Sentinel Worm wins, right? And it's easier to build a 3-color deck than a 5-color deck. All right, one more pack. Okay, here we go. Mother of Geese, love that. All right, here we go. Sturge, Blur, Cliffgate, Geode Golem, Cut a Deal, Swamp, Safana, Flaming Fist, Candlekeep Sage. Okay, now we're good to the good ones. I haven't looked yet. Nine Fingers Keen, Bothersome Quasit, Luxury Suite. Not a bad land. I actually need that one. Ragadaga, Gorgut's Boss, Human Boar. Each creature you control with a mana ability gets +2/+2. Whenever a creature you control with a mana ability attacks, untap it. Okay, it's not the worst thing in the world. Gale, Watery Prodigy, and Illithid Harvester. Okay, so that pack was not great. Not great, but we did get the Ancient Silver Dragon. We did get the Astral Dragon. Those at the very least pay for the packs, right? Let's look what an Astral Dragon's going for right now. I took a risk on some packs and we won. Wow. That Astral Dragon is going for $48. I didn't realize it shot up that much. Like that's actually unreal. So yeah, these two are great. Someone says I made Tiamat, Shifting Woodlands, Draco Genesis, or Omniscience is solid. Agreed. Joe to the Unifier is a good Dragon Commander too. Yes, you know who else is good? Morphon the Boundless. I think that's a great one for dragons. I actually used Morphon the Boundless for my dinosaur deck, so I didn't have all 5 colors of dragons. I'll be filming that soon and putting it up. Jurassic Magic says Sign of the Ur Dragon is nasty with Ancient Silver Dragon. I agree. Swinging with Scion before combat damage into Ancient Silver Dragon. Hope it doesn't die due to removal. Yep. Did I get the Deadpool Secret Lair cards? Well, let's see here. Did I? Oh, yeah, I got a bunch of them. Like a bunch of them. I got 6 packs of them. I wanted it for all the Vandal Blasts and the Deadly Rollicks. So, yep. Daddy did get the Deadpool cards. So, there we go. I'm loving the discussion tonight. This is a lively live. Check out these singles, too. I love showing this stuff off. Man, I am excited for the Ancient Silver Dragon and the Astral Dragon. I needed this for my Baral Chief of Compliance deck. It works in a lot of decks besides the deck, and that's underrated. Like, you have a lot of big creatures. This is really underrated. So, really excited about that. What a good purchase tonight. I was going to buy an Ancient Copper Dragon from the single store, but I opted for packs, and it was worth it. Now let's look at some extra cards I got that need to go in decks. We got an Ancient Brass Dragon. We got a Delney Streetwise Lookout. Great card. We have a Mana Crypt. Love Mana Crypt, by the way. Please unban my Mana Crypt. Jurassic Magic says, putting Deadpool cards in my Universes Beyond only deck with SpongeBob as a commander. I love that so much. Am I building a commander deck for Deadpool? I want to, but I'm trying to get through. So here's what happened. I had 53 full commander decks. 54, actually. And I started reworking a lot of them. And I decided to go through 1 through 54 and rework them all. And I actually have a few left to rework. So I've got something called Fiends of the Chaos Shrine. All my decks have pet names. That's my Kaalia deck. It's a demon deck. I have Xenagos. I call that the God of Rebels. Looking back here, I've got the Forbidden Forest. That's a Savannah Heart of the Wild. I've got Knight of the Trash Pandas. This is my Bellow Bard of the Brambles deck. I got to get through that one. I've got Between the Realms. This is actually a really cool deck. This is a Super Friends deck. It is all Planeswalkers, and it's a really, really fun build. Check this out. This is the commander for the Planeswalker deck. Prismatic Bridge. So you can just get out all your Planeswalkers. And you'll see right here, there's a bunch of cool cards in here. We got Atraxa, we got Kaya, Elspeth's Talent, Laziel. We have Ujin. We have Oko, Thief of Crowns, arguably the greatest Planeswalker of all time. What else do we got in here? We got Tevish Stat, Obnixilus, Dak Faden, another super underrated Planeswalker, Tameo, Ramos, Nahiri, Teferi, Nikobos, Minkskin Boo, one of my favorites of all time. I wish I would have got another one of those. I need one. So I'm just working my way through these decks, and after I'm done all those, I will maybe build the Deadpool one, but it's not going to happen now. I just don't have the cards, and I'm getting to the end of the rope. Like, I've got these commander decks to build. I got a few extra cards, like the Demonic Tutor, the Findhorn Elves, Diabolic Tutor, maybe one of the better budget tutors out there in the late game. It acts just like a Demonic Tutor. So I got those. Eska, God of the Tree, one of my favorite mana-fixing cards of all time. Lightning Greaves, Grand Arbiter, Augustine. I got to build a deck around that. Fling, that's going to go in my God of Revels deck. Mystical Tutor, Expropriate. These are just extra cards I have. Arcane Signet. Call the Copper Coats. I got to add that to my human deck. All right. Sanguine Bond, got to add it to my secondary vampire deck. Mural Commerce, love this for Merfolk. That Merfolk deck, Kumena, this is bonkers in that, along with the Seedborn Muse. Zareth Sand the Trickster, that's got to go in my Rogue deck. Ashiok Dream Render, not sure where that's going, but it is an essential card. Amulet of Vigor, not sure where I'm going to put that in. I found this card recently in a pile of commons of all things. The Aetherflux Reservoir, Recruiter of the Guard, not sure where I'm going to put that. Maybe an Aristocrat deck. I got to build one of those. Nesting Dovehawk, super underrated card. Not a lot of people know about this. Flying at the beginning of combat on your turn, populate, create a token that's a copy of a creature token you control. So it's got to go in a token deck. It might go in my humans deck. Whenever a creature token enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Nesting Dovehawk. Let's get some comments here. Bellows, your wife's first deck. Awesome. Nithro says, love the content. Thank you. The live is popping tonight. I am loving this. Tevish Stat, one of my favorite CEDH commanders. It is great. Here we go. Jake Struthers says, if these are extra cards, I'd love to see the valuable ones. Yeah, these are just kind of my extras. Soul Ring, Asceticism, found that in my kid's binder. Snatched it up. Kenneth's Transformation, one of the meanest cards in Magic. I love this. You can basically turn someone's commander to an elk and it's game over. Awaken the Woods, great for anything where you want to make some green tokens. Greater Ornamency, I love this. Enchanted creatures, you have Shroud. Don't know where I'm going to put that yet. Birds of Paradise and Bloom Tender, probably use those as some mana ramp in an Elementals deck I'm working on. Vorinclex Voice of Hunger. Vorinclex Voice of Hunger. Dockside Extortionist. Another Astral Dragon. There we go. All right. And Psy Master Thopterist. That has to go in my followed deck too. So those are some extra cards. What else do I got here to show you? I do have some more extras in this thing. Not very many, but just a couple of cards that I'm trying to fit into decks. We have a Meekstone. And who's that commander? Maybe somebody knows. Who's the commander that switches your power and toughness, like with the walls? You know what I'm talking about? I'd like to build a deck with that and use this Meekstone. Love the Kaladesh Inventions. And then we have this super fancy March of the World-Ooze. Don't know where I'm going to put it, but these cards got to go somewhere. So these are kind of some of the extra cards I have laying around. And so I'm working on some decks. But back to the thing with Deadpool. I will build a Deadpool deck eventually, but I don't know how I'm going to do that yet with all these extra cards. These are some cards I've been pulling lately. Might put that in my Dragon deck. Might put that in my Weapons deck. Vexing Devil. I actually really like this card. Might put this in my Kaalia deck. All right. Shadowborn Apostle. I need to build one with Athreos God of Passage. But yeah, so I've just been like kind of looking through cards to try and build. And this is honestly what I do. I kind of just play with cards and try to figure stuff out. So that's what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Kevin says, keep up with the awesome content. This channel about to go brr. Gonna head to sleep. Catch you next time. Thank you very much. Check that NZXO deck out. I am constantly updating it. So if you want ideas about my decks, I'm constantly updating. But anyway, this has been an awesome live. We talked to Commander Unbans, right? Please unban all my cards. Put them in the Game Changers list and make me like a Bracket 6 or Dimension X, as I call it. And then we did an opening. We got the Monster Manual. We got the Astral Dragon, massive hit. Ancient Silver Dragon, massive hit. This is actually my first art card version of this. Super excited. Nautiloid Ship, great card. Luxury Suite, cannot complain about that. So we really, oh, here's another demon. This is actually kind of cool. Bothersome Quasit. Menace, goaded creatures your opponents control can't block. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, goad target a creature an opponent controls. That's pretty cool, actually. That might go in my demon deck. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We opened up a lot of cards tonight. Had some fun, got some big hits, talked about some bands. Some singles I got from the store. I think I showed those off. The Villas, the Gamble, the Joyra, the Vargoth, the Lathlis. Yeah, we did pretty good. Monster card, all right. So, yeah, what a good night. Does anyone have any parting things to say? I'm going to go hang out with my guy. We're going to watch a Wheel of Time tonight. I say my guy, my 16-year-old, my best friend in the world. Actually, I got three best buddies. I got my 16-year-old, my 8-year-old, and my 5-year-old. They're all going to be with me at MagicCon Vegas. Mother of Geese says, have a lovely one. Thanks for the stream. It was good to chat with you. Excited to see your dinosaur tech when it comes out. It's ready. The dinosaur tech is ready. It is done. I just have to film it. I could give you a little sneak peek now if you're interested. Who wants to see my dino deck? That's a question. Should I show it off? Give you a little sneak peek. What do you think? I need some comments. Thanks for the replies. Appreciate it. You are welcome. I love engaging with the community. And I'm actually going to call an audible. I'm not going to show you my dragon deck or my dinosaur deck. I am going to save that for a video. So you'll have to wait. You'll have to stay tuned. Do me a favor. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Give me some supers. Just really, really help out the channel. Above all, share it. I really, my goal is to make this the biggest Magic the Gathering hub on YouTube. And I really, really want to be a place of positivity in the community. So I'd love to help growing. That would mean a lot to me. Jurassic Magic says, appreciate the comments about how you decided to make your YouTube channel. Coming from a more jock background, it was hard for me to express my love for MTG. Yeah, like it is hard. And it was like a part of my life that was private, but I really live this. Like, it's funny. You're looking at behind me. We got my UFC shorts. I was actually the first person to wear Hayabusa in the UFC. I'm wearing a jiu-jitsu hoodie, but also I've got over here axes that were used in The Hobbit, right? If we go a little over this way, you can see the Tower of Orthanc. You can see Rivendell with the Legos. You can see a statue of Aragorn. I've got, let me hide, Baldur behind me. I got all my Magic the Gathering stuff. Like, I got Ninja Turtles DVDs. Like, I am a nerd through and through. So, big love of mine. It's authentic. Here's my piggy bank. If you can name this guy, you get bonus points. Who knows who this guy is? Name it before I go. It'll make my soul happy. So yeah, we got all the things. You know what I mean? So despite being a jock, I am into all the nerd things. But listen, I love you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for making this live. This is the best live we've ever done. It blew up. So I really appreciate Kevin F. Got it. Lord Muzan. Don't say his name out loud. There's some kind of blood curse that gets you. But yeah, I really, really appreciate you. I also have a love of, if you know what this is, right there. So yeah, there we go. I have a key. Let me see here. This is all my nerd street credit. Who knows what this is? This is a very special key. A very special key. All right. So, yeah, there we have it. Anyway, Muscles. I'm the Muscles. Magic the Gathering. Awesome live. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. What a great day. A great day to open packs. And April 22nd, let's get these things unbanned. Watch for a special podcast from me coming in the next few days of the top 10 cards that I want to get unbanned.